Chancellor Rachel Reeves has ruled out taxing older workers more in order to help fund health and social care. That's after Labour's scrap plans for a limit on how much people would personally pay for care in their lifetime. The Chancellor said last week that the scheme was unaffordable, but the man who came up with it, Andrew Dilnot, said it would be reasonable for working OAPs to at least keep paying national insurance or NICs to cover the cost. That would mean pensioners earning more than £242 to about £967 a week would give up 8% of their income. So if you're earning £1,000 a week, well, that's quite a lot though, Christopher. Maybe they should pay the tax.
Well, can I declare an interest?
Yes.
Because obviously, as a pensioner, I'm still working and I'm not paying national insurance myself. But my employer is paying national insurance. But I think what this throws up is the absurdity of having a separate national insurance scheme and a separate income tax scheme. For years, I've been thinking it would be much more sensible to amalgamate the two. And then we'd have everybody paying one level of tax, because the national insurance is a fiction anyway. It doesn't really go towards your pension. It doesn't really go towards the cost of the health service. So why don't we recognise that fiction?
But haven't you made the argument there for having them separate? Because what it means is you can say when someone gets to 65, 66, 67, right, you can still pay income tax, but that NIC part, we're letting you off. And it enables you to do that.
Yes, of course it does. And that's because we say that national insurance contributions, you have to have so many contributions in order to be able to qualify for a pension. And once you're in receipt of your pension, then you can't be expected to contribute to your pension. And that's the argument for not charging people national insurance.
What do you think, Narinder?
Well, national insurance contributions on ring-fenced just for the pensions. And I actually agree with Christopher. I think that if you work, I think you need to pay. I don't know why pensioners keep getting the privileges of continuing to work out of choice, but not paying and getting a tax cut. Why are they getting a tax cut?
Would this also be a tax on people who are claiming have a state pension plus a private pension?
That's what I was wondering.
And drift into a tax bracket, Christopher? Do you think that you could tax them as well? Because they're already going mad about it.
Well, you could keep taxing pensioners more than but there's a lot of resistance to that, because people have actually given up their lives working hard and they've made their savings and they can't adjust their income in retirement. It's very difficult to adjust your income in retirement. So if the state comes along and takes more of your pension away in tax, then what can you do in response except write to your MP?
Sharon in Staffordshire, what do you think about this? Should pensioners have to pay more tax?
No, I don't think so at all, Jeremy. Good morning.
Morning.
And good morning, panel.
Morning.
I love Narinder. Narinder, you're fantastic. You really are.
Thank you.
Now, I don't think so, Jeremy, because, for an instance, I've worked for over 50 years and I'm a WASPy. I can't get my state pension. I've got to keep working. I work on paying tax still, national insurance still. And also, my argument is, what about somebody that's never worked, never contributed? Yet they're going to get the same kind of care that I get, and they've never contributed. Yeah.
So are you in receipt of your pension yet, or is it moving further away as you get older?
Jeremy, I hope not. I'm supposed to be getting it next year, so
66.
I hope they don't change the goalpost again.
Wait a minute,
really.
60, you're 66 now, are you?
I've got to wait for 66 when I should have got it at 60. They changed the goalpost to 66.
I know. Well, this is...
So
I mean, I don't know what you think about the whole WASPy thing. Sorry, but Christopher, Christopher was in the Commons at the time, and the WASPy women say nobody told us.
Exactly, and there's unfinished business here, because the Ombudsman is reported to have said that the WASPy women deserve some compensation, and the last government had postponed that, and the present government's got to take a decision on whether or not to honour the decision of the Ombudsman and pay money to the WASPy women. Yeah. I'm with the WASPy women.
Are you? OK. David in Shropshire, hi.
Hi, Jeremy. Hi, everybody.
Do you think working pensioners should pay more tax?
Well, I'm a bit on the borderline. Well, not really. I mean, look, the thing is, you do the right thing, you work all your life, and at the end of the day, you're penalised, because if you own your own house and you have to go into care, that has to be sold to pay for your care, so that can't go to your children. And even if you don't own your own house, and if you have above a certain amount in savings, that has to go to your care, so even that can't go to your children. So the only thing you can hope for is that you'll die at home so that you don't have to go into care.
Well, that's a slightly miserable thought, but you're right. Is that our aim, to die at home?
Well, David, did you make any private pension? Do you have a private pension in the pot? Do you have, is your house, because I think the argument is if you've got a 5-6 bedroom house and you're mortgage free, and you you sell it to pay for some of your care, there's still a big lump there to give to your children.
David?
No, I don't have a private pension or anything. I've had to become a registered carer for my wife because she has excessive dementia.
Okay, so you're really up against it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, OK, I understand, David. Thank you very much. And, of course, if you hit people with an unexpected tax bill, as Chris says, when they've made their retirement plans and then you suddenly say, oh, by the way, you've got to give an extra 8%.
But they're working. They're choosing to work.
True. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And the largest Democrat that's using the NHS are pensioners. So we're going to have to pay for it somewhere.
But we've got a story later on about EasyJet saying let's have some older workers. You'd be putting them off if you start to say you're going to pay an extra 8% tax if you have a job.
We mustn't lose sight of the fact that the previous government promised that there would be a lifetime cap on contributions towards social care. The present government has announced that that cap's going to be removed, which means that the lottery of life, some people die suddenly, some people die a lingering death, resulting in enormous social care costs.
Yeah.
And the previous government was trying to bring in some sort of fairness into that, and that's been removed by the current.
Well,
Thank you, David. I just get Linda in if we can. Sorry, Narinder. Hello, Linda in Kent.
Good morning, Jeremy. I'm one of those waspy women as well, but that's not what I phoned up about.
Go on.
My mother, I lost her 2 years ago, bless her, had dementia. She worked well past her pension age, which was 60 then. She worked till she was 68. So she made a huge contribution to this country, working from the time she was 14 and all the time when I was born. And she contributed a huge amount of money in tax and national insurance, but it didn't stop them having to pay for her own care by selling her very small Victorian terraced house. So what happens? It's almost as if you're punishing people when they get dementia, because Narinder's just said you get a nice lump sum. Well, I can assure you, you do not get a nice lump sum, because the very small amount that was left, I'm getting emotional now, I'm sorry, the very small amount that was left paid for a new boiler. There you are.
Yeah.
And after that, it was all gone. I don't care about the house. I wanted her to be well looked after, and she was.
Yeah.
And the house went. So
where did the house?
What do you mean? Being
well, she sold the house to pay for her care. Yeah.
And there was just.
We had to. We didn't have a choice.
And that paid for her care, and there wasn't much left over.
There was virtually. I just said it paid for a new boiler.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that is the.
I haven't had a holiday for 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Linda thinks that all pensioners are wealthy.
But Linda, my parents paid their taxes their whole life and then died before pension age. That's not fair either. So
That's
they
not
died.
Fair.
So.
All right, Linda.
That isn't fair, is it?
No.
I'm sorry, but I get quite cross when
I
Narinda
understand.
says that all pensioners are wealthy.
Not all. No, I said not all. Of course, that's an obvious fact. Not all pensioners are wealthy. I just think that there should be, the ones who need the help, and if you're wealthy, you don't need the help.
Thank you, Linda. Thanks to all our callers.